Welcome to Between Two Coaches, a digital mentors podcast for coaches, consultants, trainers, authors, speakers, and experts. I am your host, Norbert Orlewicz, and in each episode, we have a conversation with successful and emerging thought leaders in the mentoring industry to share experiences, insights, and practical strategies to make a bigger impact with our work. This podcast is sponsored by our Digital Mentors Compass workshop. Most coaches struggle to enroll enough clients consistently, not because they're bad at coaching, but simply because they lack clarity and simplicity in their marketing strategy. Simply put, they don't know how to stand out in their market and attract their ideal perfect clients. That's why we created the Digital Mentors Compass experience. It's a step-by-step workshop where you will clarify your marketing message and receive an AI-powered 30-plus page marketing report personalized for your specific business and goals. It's an interactive workshop where you'll walk away with a personalized roadmap to finally achieve your goals with a simple plan you can actually follow. Register to attend the next workshop for free at compassworkshop.com. Again, that's compassworkshop.com. Today's guest is Cheri Tree, and I'm very excited to have her here. We met many years ago. I've been following her work on social media and really excited to have this conversation with her. She is the founder and CEO of Codebreaker Technologies. Cheri is a best-selling author, professional keynote speaker, world-renowned entrepreneur and innovator. She's the creator of the revolutionary B.A.N.K methodology and Codebreaker's patented personal coding technology designed to help her clients, coaches like you, increase their influence, income, and impact in the world. Welcome to the conversation, Cheri.
Hey, so excited to be back with you, Norbert. How are you?
I am very good. It's been a while. I couldn't believe it when you said we met back in 2012. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it's been that long.
They say time flies, but I never forget that moment. It happened to correlate with some pretty big events in my life. And so that's why I was able to remember, this is where we met.
Yeah, awesome. Well, let me start off. I like starting off the conversation here with a thought-provoking question, just to get the conversation going. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to try to keep it short. But let me ask you this question: why do you think coaching, mentorship, entrepreneurship as a whole is so important right now, more than ever before, considering everything that's going on in the world?
I think the very fact that we have to put that disclaimer, considering everything that's going on in the world, it's like a twilight zone that's happening out there. And there's a lot of pressures that are coming on people, political, economical, financial, like all kinds of stresses that are happening in the world. Technology's going faster and faster. Relationships are getting fragmented and beaten down in many, many ways. And so I think number one, just for survival purposes, you need to have your head straight, right? You need to be able to have a clear mindset. You need to be able to have someone in your corner who can help you navigate the challenges that are coming at you. And I love Robert Kiyosaki's advice, by the way, where he says, stop taking advice from people more messed up than you. So the key would be finding a coach who is ahead of you, who's already accomplished the things that you're aspiring to accomplish. And that could be financial or otherwise. But the right coach and the right mentor can help you navigate the challenges of life much easier and better than just you trying to wing it and do it by yourself.
Now, where do you think your work fits into all of that? Why do you think the work that you do is so important?
Well, okay, so in my introduction, you said I'm the creator of the B.A.N.K methodology, and I'll hold up a copy of my book with the acronym of B.A.N.K on here. B.A.N.K is an acronym that personifies the 4 personality types, right? I wrote the book, Why They Buy. So just quick backstory, I invented this because I was in sales, I was an entrepreneur, and my first year I crushed it. I made $700. So I was terrible at sales. And for 5 years, I was stuck in the hustle and grind, chasing my tail and basically being programmed to fail by being told that sales was a numbers game, being told that in order to get more yeses, I had to get more nos, until I woke up one day and said, that's actually the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because the truth is, in order to get more yeses, you actually have to get more yeses. So, right? Not rocket science, but it is personality science. So I discovered that the secret to getting a yes was studying people instead of sales. And in studying people, I learned about personality types and yada, yada. Like I can expand on my story if we want to go there, but I basically discovered a hack and a secret. The secret was that sales is not a numbers game. Sales is a people game. By the way, coaching is a people game.
Mhm.
And if you understand that there's 4 different types of people, what I figured out was exactly how to communicate to them, sell to them, mentor them, etc., differently based on what worked for them and what yielded the yes or the win-win style outcome. So I think if you're going to be a coach, you should definitely know the operating system of the person that you are trying to mentor, or else you may literally steer them wrong.
Now, I know that this question is going to come up right away because the first question that came up for me too. How is this different? There's so many personality tests out there. I've done a bunch of them myself, Myers-Briggs, DISCs. I mean, I've done a whole bunch of them. And I really enjoyed your process because it's one of the simplest ones. Now, initially, I have to be honest, when I first looked at, because you have to choose, put into order your values.
Yep.
And at first, and then I just did this with a friend and she did exactly the same thing. She froze and she was like, but I'm everything. I'm a little bit of this, I'm a little bit of that. How do I choose? But once I sat with it, I took a breath and I sat with it, then it was really easy. And literally within 90 seconds, I was able to make my choices. And when I read the report, it was bang on. It was really well done. So tell us a little bit about why is your bank system different and important as a personality test, especially for coaches, course creators, and mentors?
Yeah, well, it's a great question, and I get that question a lot. So, back in the day before I invented Bank, of course, I only had access to the existing personality assessment models that were in the market, and I took them too: DISC, MBTI, color code, like what animal are you, what astrology sign are you? And in the beginning, I was fascinated with what I learned about myself, but my fascination turned into frustration, Norbert, when I realized not one single one of these assessments ever made me more money.
Mhm.
None of them ever helped me close more sales, and I remember thinking, "Okay, wait. If it's been proven for thousands of years that there's 4 different types of people, I wonder if they make buying decisions differently, and I wonder if what makes one person say yes makes another person say no." And that's when I had the idea, like, show me an assessment who can tell me not who I am, because no customer ever cared. Show me who my buyer is. Show me who my client is, and show me what makes them say yes versus no. So the biggest differentiation was that every other assessment model that I'd used in the past was based in psychology, and Bank was the first in the world based in what I call biology, spelled B-U-Y-ology, which was the science of buying behavior. I didn't care whether or not you were introverted or extroverted. I cared about what made you say yes versus no. So the Bank system became my interpretation of buying behavior. And let me just kind of quickly introduce your coaches to this. Like when you have a client that's a B, a blueprint, this is someone who's very conservative, rule following, inside the box, process driven. And if you coach them outside the box, you're going to get a complete total meltdown and resistance. The A in Bank, though, stands for action. That's your red hot firecracker, mover, shaker, millionaire maker. And they require a completely different form of coaching. They're completely outside the box. Rules do not apply to them. They want it, the sky is not the limit. The sky's just the beginning, right? And so they're not going to follow rules and processes and systems. They need the freedom to be able to do it their way. They have the fire under their butt. They're going to go throw spaghetti noodles against the wall, right? That's the action. The N in Bank stands for nurturing, and that's the person who's like, look, the money's not what's motivating me. It's the mission. It's the movement. It's the do good in the world. I'm here for relationships, not necessarily for revenue.
Mm.
This is a really amazing, kind person. And the K in Bank is knowledge, and that's the person that says, give me the data, give me the science, give me the case studies, give me all of the research. I want to study, I want to learn, I need to fact check, I need to, So this is what spells out the Bank acronym, and your clients, or for coaches, your clients have these primary operating systems, and here's the catch. What I discovered was that every human in the world is not just one of these 4, but they're actually a combination of all 4, which is what I call their bank code. So if you think of a bank code like a PIN code, when you go take out your ATM card and put it into the ATM machine, it wants you to enter a 4-digit PIN code in the exact sequence if you want your money to come out, where your customers have a 4-digit bank code sequence. And if you know what that sequence is and you communicate to them to that sequence, a yes will come out and the money typically follows. So that's the power of this. The very fact that you were K first, right? You selected knowledge first. The knowledge personality type is the one that's going to debate. They're going to overanalyze, and you're literally probably creating word weightings in your mind with like, well, there's some on each card, and the card sorting process of our assessment that are true for you and less true for you. And your brain at warp speed was creating these micro calculations, trying to determine which one was first. And the very comment of, how you ran the assessment already starts to identify your code. And it's so cool because once you know that, now we built all of the formulas of here's how to communicate, here's how to negotiate, here's how to close the sale based on those code sequences.
So let me give you a practical application here, right? So
Yeah.
my code is KANB.
Yeah.
Okay. Which was interesting for me because I've been resisting the K actually for quite a few years. And I've been working towards being more of an A.
Mm-hmm.
And also naturally, inherently, I am an N. Like I'm a big-hearted person. I avoid conflict. I just want everyone to get along. Like I'm the middle child. So there's a big part of that there. But when I was reading through those values, I had to choose K first. And I think I made the right choice because when I read the review, it's like, oh my God, this is truly who I am, like at the core. So knowing that I am a KANB, how would that shift your approach to your conversation with me, to your sales conversation with me?
Yeah. So one of the cool ways that we cracked someone's code to find this out in the early days pre-technology was I actually built a set of 4 cards, right? The bank cards. So these are famous cards. And these bank cards are loaded with 12 specific values, and each of the 12 value sets are totally different on each card. Okay.
Yep.
So on the knowledge card, the green one, you have words like learning, intelligence, logic, self-mastery, technology, research and development, science, universal truths, expertise, competence, accuracy, and the big picture. So what that means, Norbert, if I were sitting here coaching you or mentoring you or selling to you or whatever, is I'm going to come at you from a very logical approach. I'm going to make sure that I am a subject matter expert, that I know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to create any ambiguity in your mind where you start questioning the validity of my content or my data sets, right? I have to be able to speak in a way that just you can connect the dots. And what I found with the knowledge personality type, which of the 4 primary codes in the bank system, this is the most challenging one to close.
Yes, I am.
This is the one who takes the longest to close. My joke is, how long does it take to close a K? And it starts with the number 4. And the answer is forever. Right?
I gotta shop around, man. There's other options out there.
This is the one who has to literally think about it. If someone says I need to think about it, these 3 are lying and this one's telling the truth. They literally need to think about it. So,
and look at that mistake. Let me stop you right there. Look at that mistake in sales training right there.
Mm-hmm.
Because as sales trainers, most sales trainers will teach you if they're saying, I need to think about it, it's a no, and you need to close them now, and they're lying to you, et cetera, et cetera. But what you just said is the truth. The other 3 are lying to you. But if you've got a green, he's not lying to you. He literally has to think about it.
Yep.
And if you don't give me the right information and you blow me off and you try to pressure sell me, I'm done.
Right.
You just lost all my trust.
That 100%. So let's actually deconstruct why. And this is the power of the bank system. So the green, the K, right? I know I use colors, but I refer to them as a code, B.A.N.K. So the K personality type, the reason is, number 1, you can't close a K. A K has to close themselves.
Yep.
Okay. How they close themselves is they have to get to a place in their brain. Their brain is there to protect them. Everything that they've done their whole life has been intellectually driven. Their test scores, their IQ, and so forth. They cannot be wrong. Okay. And therefore, you cannot close a K if there's any possibility that they are making the wrong decision. So if they have not analyzed the data yet, if they have not done comparisons of this product versus that product and come up with the logical, smart choice, they won't move forward. They therefore need to stall. And the stall is not to fail to close the sale. The stall is I need more data to process until I can draw my conclusion where I have 100% feeling that I'm not making a mistake, that I won't be made a fool for making the wrong decision. And ultimately, they need to get their brain to a place where they can say the words to themselves, this is a no-brainer. And
This makes sense.
right, it
This
makes sense. And that's
sense.
exactly what
Yeah.
a K would say. A K will say, it makes sense, which means you are speaking logic to me, and therefore I have no reason to doubt or to hesitate because it makes sense. And because it makes sense, if this is a no-brainer, which means my brain is no longer the security guard of me making the wrong decision, I now will give it the green light and say, I'm ready to sign the paperwork. I'm ready to close the deal. Let's move forward, because they've eliminated the risk of making the wrong decision at that point. They have become convinced that their decision is the smart decision, the right decision.
Yeah, beautiful. And then my next one is the A. So it's an
Yeah.
interesting mix between the two, because the A is more of that driver, impulsive risk taker, which a lot of Ks are not. Like, a lot of Ks are intellectual and they're very hesitant and resistant to change and risk, but I take risks all the time. And actually, some of my I'm a little bit ADD, so I've got a ton of different ideas. And some people on my team get frustrated with me because I take too much risk. So that's an interesting balance between the two.
Yeah. Okay. So the second part of your code is action. And what we have found is that usually the second part of your code is the aspirational code. It's the one you want to lean into more, which is cool hearing you
Interesting.
explain, like, you want to be more A. And sometimes the K is maybe comes across even socially as not as cool. Maybe in high school, these were a little bit nerdy, right?
I literally got answers on tests wrong because I didn't want to be called Nerdbird anymore.
Nerdbird. Oh my gosh. Okay, Norbert, I love this, right? This is real stuff. This is why I love this so much. So let's read the action card to your audience. The actions value freedom, flexibility, spontaneity, action, opportunity, excitement, attention, stimulation, competition, winning, having fun, and image, right?
Damn right.
Head to
Yep.
toe, it's all for show for the action. So here's the difference between these two. The way that you are making decisions, and these can happen in nanoseconds at like micro, warp speed, is you want to get to take action. You do want to be able to have fun. You want to get after it and crush it. But your brain and the way that you're wired, what you're doing, you still need to make sure that it's making sense. You need to make sure that the turbo speed that you're going is heading in the right direction, right? That your ladder is on the right building. You're not climbing the wrong wall, right?
Yep.
So, because if you were A first, let's just say, if you
Yeah.
were action first, then you'd just be like, you know what, freaking I'm in, let's go, balls to the wall. And you might be heading in the wrong direction at 100 miles an hour. And the K didn't catch up and say like, actually, we should probably check our coordinates first, right? You're going to check the coordinates first. You're going to make sure that it's the smart way to go. And then you're able to punch the pedal to the metal. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense.
But you've probably met people like this that are just like, I'm in, rip your shirt off, bang your chest, let's do it. And sometimes they're an idiot because they haven't thought it through all the way.
100%. Yeah.
Right.
One of my partners is more like that. And my wife is like that. She's the one that like books a flight, makes a decision, makes a purchase. I'm like, wait, hold on a second.
Yes,
Yeah, look.
exactly. You didn't look up this. We didn't check the consumer reports. Like, there's a huge storm coming in. You might not be able to fly back. Exactly. Right.
Yeah. But she gets stuff done. Okay. So my question for you, and I'm sure a lot of people have this question right now, is okay, but so I can take the test and I can determine my thing really quickly. How do you help coaches, salespeople, entrepreneurs? How do you help people analyze and quickly realize who they're speaking to, who they're engaging with, and what their personality is? How does that work?
Yeah. So this really has two perspectives. And so I'm going to introduce the concept of emotional intelligence, right? And these are buzzwords that have been floating around the marketplace for a while. Let's just stop for a moment and deconstruct what emotional intelligence actually is. Emotional intelligence is having self-awareness and the ability to self-regulate. And it's having the awareness of who the other person is that you're engaging with and your ability to adjust according to their needs, not your needs. Okay. So this idea would be, first, as a coach, you should know your own bank code, right? Like Norbert, you need to know that you are leading with a K first, and therefore you may be subject to overanalyzing, debating, researching, and so forth. And your client might not be wired that way, right? Like, I'm actually an action first. So you need to take into consideration what your code is, maybe the limitations of your code, the blind spots of your code, so that that awareness doesn't impact negatively the coaching experience for the recipient that you're talking to, who may have a completely, totally different code than you, and therefore they have a different operating system. And a good analogy would be if you are a Microsoft software program trying to tell an Apple computer how it should function or how it should optimize, and the two are not compatible, there's going to be a dysfunction in that relationship. There's going to be frustration in the relationship. They're likely going to say, this isn't a good fit. I'm not getting my money's worth. I'm not getting results. There's no mojo between the two of you because you're not able to connect in a meaningful way for the coachee, the student, or the person that you're trying to guide and mentor through the process. I'm going to show you an analogy. If I was coaching you, let's say, and I'm the red action card, I approach life through the red lens. Like, this is the way that I look at my natural life. Go for it. We're going to pick up. We're going to travel. We're going to be spontaneous. You know, I don't need to think twice. I'm going to take action. But when I am coaching a client like you that starts with the knowledge first, I need to take my lens off and I need to put your lens on.
Because you need to see the world through my eyes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if I'm in the matrix, I need to guide you through this process in a way that's meaningful to you. By just even doing this little simulation exercise where I'm looking through green lenses right now through the knowledge perspective, I'm gonna decrease my volume. I'm going to slow down my speech. I'm going to input a lot more deliberate, critical thinking, thought-provoking processes. I'm going to ask you different types of questions. I'm not here to motivate you and run you off a cliff, right? I'm here to think this through with you. We're going to solve the riddle together. And regardless of what my code is, like when I'm done with the coaching session, I might take this off and be like, okay, well, my brain hurts right now, but what's for lunch? Where are we going? It's Valentine's Day, right? So that is the whole point of the bank code, is to know who the other person is, regardless of your code, and be able to shift into that part of the code for them. That makes sense.
Oh, totally, totally clear. So that, I imagine, that is a skill that needs to be developed. So
Yes, 100%.
What kind of tools and training and resources do you have to help people develop that skill so that it becomes second nature? Because I get the feeling you've been doing this for so long now. You've been coaching so many people in this methodology that you could probably pick up within seconds or minutes on the main personality types and the codes of people. I mean, how good are you at this, and how good can we get at this?
Yeah, well, these are all great questions. So let me just expand on some of them. First of all, I love Tony Robbins. He says there's 2 master skills of life that you really need to have. Whoa, balloons happening. We're celebrating today. The science of achievement, which means you need to be able to go out there and crush it, accomplish, win, earn, you know, and have those successes. But the other part is, like the yin and the yang, is the art of fulfillment, which means, you know, just making money and crushing it is an empty victory if your relationships have fallen apart, your spouse wants a divorce, your kids won't talk to you, you know. So the art of fulfillment is equally important. And what I wanted to do with the bank codes was bring those worlds together, where originally I thought I was just training salespeople and people
in sale,
in coaching and all of that. And they started coming back to me saying, hey, this just saved my marriage. And I was like, what? How did it do that? Or this just made me a better parent. And I was like, how did it do that? And they're like, well, I cracked the code of my kids or my spouse. And then I got feedback that says, this just prevented a suicide, your bank system. And I was like, whoa, how did it do that? Well, bullying at schools is happening based on codes. The same reason you started to fail your questions on your test on purpose to not deliberately be bullied as a nerd, for example. Like, this is happening in schools and playgrounds all over the world. So to come back to, there's 4 different ways to crack a code. The key is you need to crack the code. And by the way, I'm going to share some stats with you, and let's kind of geek out a little bit on this. There was a study done by the Cheri group, and they said, hey, I wonder if personality types matter in the sales process. And they came back and published, and they said only 18% of buyers will buy from a salesperson who does not match their personality type. So only 2 out of 10 are going to say yes to you or engage with you if you do not match their personality style, versus 82% success rate when personality types are aligned. So when we hear in traditional sales training that people will buy from you when they know you, like you, and trust you, what creates that is the match of the personality code, right? So then the whole thing became, well, how do I crack someone's code? Okay, the hardest way to crack it is to guess it. And that's what the average person has been doing their entire life, because they haven't been given the framework or the tools or the technology to do it. So you just had to like wing it. And that's why you have your average closing rates and your average incomes and all of those things. That wasn't good enough for me. The whole go for no was like backwards. Instead, I thought if I could slow down a pace or two, deliberately find out what my client's bank code was, and then match my communication style to that code, I was an 8 out of 10 chance of getting a yes. And the year I implemented this, my income went from $72,000 to over $500,000, a 7x increase, and then over $1 million within 3 years. This was by the time I was 33, like almost 20 years ago. And then it just kept expanding from there. And that's when I started telling other people about the system, because they were like, can you teach it to me? Can you teach it to me? Can you speak at my conference? And that's why I remember meeting you, because 2012 was sort of around the beginning era of me starting to talk about B.A.N.K publicly as opposed to just using it privately, right? So 4 ways to crack a code. The hardest way is guessing. And we have a whole training course called speed coding, where you have to learn the clues that you're guessing. What are they wearing? The car they drive, the speed they talk, the topic they talk on, all reveals a code. Okay.
Yep.
The second way, the easiest way for me, was I just invented a set of cards. And when I'd meet you face to face back before we did all these digital versions, you know, I'd literally hand you a set of cards and I'd say, hey, Norbert, do me a favor before we get started. Take a look at these 4 cards. I just want you to sort them in order, top to bottom, most like you to least like you. This is going to help me serve you better or get to know you better. Save us both some time. And what I found was every time I did this, I didn't even know if it would work, but it worked 100% of the time. There was never anybody who did not want to do this exercise. Why? Curiosity gets the best of them. I hand them the cards. 2, the topic on the cards was about them, not you, right? Yeah. Get out of your own way. It's always about them. And number 3, I actually spoke all 4 languages of B.A.N.K to them. And I want to show you how this works. So when I say, hey, Norbert, take a look at these cards, I'm talking to the K part of you, your code, that wants to analyze and read the data of these 4 data sets. I then give you instructions. I want you to sort these top to bottom, most like you to least like you. I'm now talking to the blueprint who wants the process, the instructions, the rules. I then said, this is going to help me get to know you better, serve you better. I'm talking to the nurturing part of you that wants a genuine, authentic relationship connection with me. And I end it with, and save us both some time, I'm now talking to the action person who's like, hurry up, chop, chop, like just get to the bottom line. You know, this is going to make me rich. Okay. So using those cards was how we did it. And then back when people started meeting digitally on Skype and then Zoom, we built this into a digital technology. What if I could just send you a link, give you a QR code that allows you to do this online, which is what you did. And you saw the website, that was the exact process. Here's 4 images, drag and drop them into a sequence. And by the way, once you do that, if you're willing to give us your name, phone number, and email, which is the opt-in, we will give you a $99 report for free as our gift to you. So we capture the lead, we send you the report, and that's what you got, and you read it, and you're like, oh my God. And the cool thing, this is less than 90 seconds. So
Yeah, it was
this is the
quick.
fastest assessment in the world.
Yeah.
Less than 90 seconds. And the data is so accurate. You're like, how in the world could she know that about me in less than 90 seconds by sorting 4 cards? Because all of this is science and it's been scientifically validated. We've got research and case studies on this. I taught at Harvard, like you won't believe it. Okay. And then, but this is not why I did it. I wasn't here to just send out personality reports. I don't consider myself an assessment company, although we've done hundreds of thousands of these. I built it because when you send a link to someone to crack their code, we generate a corresponding sales playbook about that code that our clients get. So this is a subscription model. If you were paying to administer these assessments with your client, a sales playbook would be created and you get an email that says, hey, Norbert, your client, Johnny, just cracked this code. Here's his name, phone number, email. Here's his bank code. And here's the top tips of how to communicate, negotiate, close the sale, right? Guide him, lead him, manage him, hire him, et cetera, et cetera. So you have a playbook on what to do with that human being. How are they wired? What should I do? What should I not do? What are the triggers? What are the tripwires that I need to be advised about before I coach or mentor or try to sell to this person, right? And then the last piece that I'll say is, then we invented AI, right?
Yeah,
So
I
this
saw
is
that
where
on the
the artificial
website. Yeah.
intelligence part comes in, where the future is trending to is back in 2018, we started asking the questions, what if we could develop an AI that could just tell us your code? What if I've never even met you, couldn't hand you the cards, never sent you a link? What if you're just on LinkedIn and I want to reach out to you to create a relationship? What if I could have the LinkedIn system speculate your code? So we built all of the AI tools to be able to do that. And now we have a Chrome extension on LinkedIn. We have artificial intelligence like ChatGPT that can actually write marketing copy, sales copy, emails, funnels, all of that. But you could actually tell it to write to the code that you're wanting to influence. So it's like,
Oh,
yeah, that's what we're up to over here at Codebreaker.
that is exciting. That is really cool to see, just to see how much you've developed this. And I can't believe that I've ignored this whole process for so long, because I saw the beginnings of it in 2012.
Yep.
And I remember you introducing B.A.N.K at that point. And just to see how far you've gone with this company and the tools now that are available to sales professionals in all industries, this is amazing. This is really incredible. So we could talk about this for hours.
Yeah, enough.
We got to wrap this up. All of the links are going to be here, in the show notes, in the description, so you guys can connect with Cheri, so you can get your own assessment and you can learn about how Cheri and her company can help you improve your conversations. Those AI tools are mind blowing, because now I can, like, literally prospecting on LinkedIn. You know exactly what to say to people because you're getting AI to basically tell you their code.
Exactly.
This is incredible, honestly. So, okay, let's wrap up with this one kind of final open-ended question here. What do you think? Let's just kind of get real about the coaching industry. You've been in this industry now for years. You've had your lows and your highs. Obviously, you've worked with so many coaches. What's the hardest part you think about being a coach that nobody talks about? What's a struggle that you think most coaches don't share openly?
Well, I think I'm glad you asked that, because I hired a coach once and I spent a couple $1,000s for 6 coaching sessions back in the day. And I remember feeling like this person is more broken than me. And I felt like he should be paying me and I feel like I should be his therapist right now. So the whole stop taking advice from people more messed up than you. What I found is that most people want coaching for 2 main reasons. Either A, they want to get their business totally dialed in and they want to make a freak ton more money. So you need to be the one that's actually making more money, not talking about how to make money, but you don't make so much money, right? And it can't just be selling your coaching programs as how you make money. You actually need to have been an expert who's been there, done that, and now they want your expertise and they're willing to pay for it. Or 2, people are coming because their relationships are all messed up and they're actually not good with people, whether that's their marriage, their children, their business relationships gone wrong, people issues. Right. And so this is why I'm a fanatic around the code, because we built something that could solve both sides. But you need to get this dialed in. You need to have your own self-awareness. You need to implement emotional intelligence. You need to know how your clients are wired and how to optimize them to maximize that performance right? If you're going to tweak on guiding them, that code is going to give you the whole playbook on how to do that and come from experience. So go out there and get more experience, go out there and make a lot more money, create the success that other people will come to seek after you for. And don't be an imposter. Don't be a fake or a phony or a fraud pretending that you are an expert when you actually are not one yet. And everybody starts somewhere. Like we all had a beginning, and it's okay. There's no shame in the beginning. Just don't overmarket yourself where you actually can't back up your marketing claims, so to speak.
Yeah, I always say don't make promises you can't keep.
Yeah.
And I've seen that in the coaching industry for sure. There's people promising outcomes that they can't really deliver yet because they haven't accomplished themselves yet at all themselves. And I think what you bring up there is that personality side of it, the human connection side of it. I don't think there's any way for coaches to get around this. You have to get good with people.
100%. Brian Tracy said, all business is a people business. So I would focus on people and studying people and mastering your ability to connect and communicate with people versus maybe studying all these other things that you're focused on, and you're missing kind of the bullseye of your whole business in the first place, which is people.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we talk about so much because we help people with online marketing. And one of the big things that we say, stop online marketing. Stop doing all the things that you think you need to do with online marketing. And let's focus on the basics. When you're starting a coaching business, it should really just be about making connections, connecting with people and having conversations. And when you can master what you're talking about here, having that emotional intelligence, that awareness of yourself and others and how to speak to people to build a genuine connection, man, that stuff is powerful. Cheri, where can people connect with you and get more information and get their own code?
Yeah, well, I created a free gift for everybody. So this is for any of your listeners that want to go out there and crack the code. Just go to crackmycode.com/free. That's going to let you do the assessment, drag and drop those 4 cards digitally. It's going to send you a report. And at the end of doing that, on the landing page is a chance to register for a 4-hour masterclass where I teach B.A.N.K. It's like a $599 masterclass, but I've waived the fee for you to be able to register for that at no cost and just come in and consume for 4 hours. I'm going to teach you the code. I'm going to teach you how to sell to the code, close the code, etc. And at that point, if it makes sense, then we'll get you started on how to be a code breaker so that you can go out there and be the most effective and profitable, successful coach out there in the industry.
Love it. Cheri, love it. I'm so glad that I reached out to you, connected, and brought you on here. This is incredibly valuable. I'm going to have to dig in myself and probably attend that 4-hour training myself.
Yes.
Just to get some of these tips, because this is 30 minutes and I've learned so much.
Yeah.
Really great conversation, Cheri. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your insights and experiences as a coach. Like I said, we're going to leave all the links in the show notes and description so you can connect with Cheri and also get your own B.A.N.K personality code. And if you're a coach, consultant, trainer, expert, and you're looking for clarity in your marketing and client acquisition strategy so you can enroll more clients consistently, join us for our next Digital Mentors Compass workshop. It's a free interactive workshop. We're going to help you get clear on your messaging and your offer. You tie that in with what Cheri's talking about here, and you're going to be unstoppable, okay? You can register for that at compassworkshop.com. And if you enjoyed this episode here, please get this out to your network and audiences. Help us grow this channel. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our episodes. This has been a conversation between 2 coaches.